When it comes to keeping a page a day or daily sketchbook or visual journal, you might be a little bit panicked and wondering, what could you possibly do in a page a day diary? Well, you might be surprised. I wanted to make this video for you just as some inspiration to show you what's possible if you've always been intrigued or wanted to make a little bit of art every day, but got bogged down with supplies or techniques or just didn't even know how to get started. I'm going to show you some pages out of my daily creative practice visual journal. Hey, welcome back. I'm Lisa Sonora, and this channel is all about using your creativity to support your personal and spiritual growth. Make art feel better. That's my motto. This is filmed in July of 2022. So it's a mid-year tour of my daily sketchbook visual journal. I keep it in a Moleskine hardcover large daily diary. I'll link down in the description box below to the exact journal I use for this. The daily diary is an agenda. It's not even a proper sketchbook. But as you'll see, even though the pages are really thin, it does stand up to all the painting and collage I do on the pages. I use my visual journal to sketch, draw, collage, doodle, think, dream. Everything from my brain gets dumped down into these pages. I use it to capture my memories, keep track of my goals, all of my ideas for everything I do in life as an artist and as a creative entrepreneur comes from this daily visual journal. And the beauty of it is, instead of just written lists or using an agenda of all the things you have to do, and I do have an agenda where I do that, that's gonna have to be another video. But keeping a visual journal makes it all so much more fun and rewarding. Well, I'm going to stop talking now and let's just get into it. Seeing is believing. A picture's worth 1,000 words. This is my daily creative practice visual journal. So I don't use this book like an agenda. Here's the page a day, blank pages. Instead of using it as an agenda, I use this as my sketchbook. These are filled with my thoughts, ideas. When I'm teaching classes, I do the visual journaling projects along with my students. This was from my creative practice workshop, and we were doing live visual journaling together. So I was doing my examples in my own visual journal as we worked. This piece of paper is like a tongue sticking out, and it's like blah, blah, blah. Inside are things I've written down that I want to remember to be mindful of in terms of my own negative thinking and stuff like that. Things to be aware of. Visual journaling is my mental health plan. It's very fun for me to do. It's very relaxing, and it's a way I can explore whatever I'm doing in my own therapy, coaching, or personal growth without it feeling too heavy or like too much work. I also always include sketches or examples of paintings I'm working on in my studio. So this is a sketch and just a quick synopsis in a way of one of my paintings, this series where I live out in rural Mexico. I'm obsessed with painting these sort of rural mountain farm scenes. So here's some backgrounds ready for more painting. For example, these are the kind of abstract landscapes I've been painting this year. I just love doing them, and you know what happens? Oops. It's not quite dry yet, I guess. Or no, I used the wrong paint. There's definitely materials you don't want to use in your visual journals or they stick together. I was just going to say that sometimes or often it seems like the paintings I like best are the ones I just did a quick sketch of in my visual journal, not the ones I'm trying to do on canvas. It is a strange thing, maybe because I feel freer in here and I'm not attached to the product. This was a private note. I just covered it up with a piece of my collage paper. Doing color mixing triads. I just love keeping track of what I'm working on. You know, I started keeping these visual journals like this, these page-a-day agendas, because I had this epiphany that I wasn't doing anything, that I wasn't really accomplishing anything, until I sat down and journaled about it and said, what have I actually done? And talking with friends too, were like, you're so productive, you do so much, and it's like, well, I have this idea that I'm not doing anything. And so I started keeping these daily diary visual journals as evidence of what I'm doing. Here I was completely fried, so that's what went on that page. This picture here, a selfie, I had to get a new passport. My passport expired during the pandemic. Everything was closed. I was stranded abroad with no passport until things opened up like over a year later. Anyway, that's a different story for another time. But what I did was, there was really nowhere to go get my passport photo taken. So I took my own and I bought photo paper and had it delivered to me, hoping they would take the photo. And it did, they worked. But this is the photo. It's not a great picture, let me tell you, but whatever. I did my best. I got my passport. Oh, have you tried playing Wordle? This day, February 8th, I guessed the Wordle on the first try. I always pick a word that has 2 vowels in it, and then what I do is just sit down in my environment and look around at what's around me to get my 5-letter word. And this day it was frame, and I couldn't believe it. I saw those green tiles flip over, and it was just kind of an exciting moment. Easily amused. When in doubt, I sketch my dogs. And these are very quick sketches because, well, here they are kind of resting, but even when dogs are resting, they move around a lot. So it's kind of like my dogs are my own life drawing class. Instead of humans, I can do life drawings of my dog. So my visual journal, it's filled with dog images. I was thinking about croissants because I was planning a Paris sketchbook workshop. I always document when I'm traveling, including flights and things like that. I don't know, I've always done this my whole life. It's a strange obsession. Notes from workshops. All of my ideas for teaching come out of my visual journals. I think of this as my creative practice. I actually have a whole workshop called Creative Practice, and I have a workshop called the Visual Journal Workshop. I'll include links to those in the description below the video if you want to check those out. I love sharing visual journaling and teaching others how to do it. I first started teaching visual journaling when I was a therapist working in psychiatric hospitals. And I just told my patients one day, you know, I'm not really sure how to help you guys, but this is what I did to feel better when I was sitting where you're sitting. This is an exploration of vessels. And I found myself painting these vessel-like abstract paintings. I think I have an example in here. Yes. So I was painting these shapes. I have some paintings on canvases sort of like this, and the shapes reminded me of vessels, and then kind of also like the heart muscle, and then I thought about blood vessels. So those are the types of things I will explore here. Whatever I'm working on, whatever thoughts come to mind when I'm working. I hope this is giving you some ideas. I like to note if we're having monsoons or rains. This is the view outside my window. In Spanish, I wrote here, a little rain. A real little bit of rain. And then my French press and my cup of coffee. If you haven't tried sketching yourself, doing self-portraits, a lot of the famous artists that you love did a lot of self-portraits. It's a good way to learn to draw and paint. I'm not trained at drawing the figure or face, but I like to practice it. I think it's an act of self-compassion to draw yourself and look at yourself and draw what you see the best you can. You don't have to know how to draw. This was another visual journal project I did during a live class with my students. Hi, Gramps. That's a photo of my Gramps, who bought me my first blank book when I was 5 years old. These are notes from my friend Cynthia. I will link to this interview. She sent me these questions about keeping a sketchbook, so I wrote down the interview questions. These were more paintings I was playing with. It's so fun and satisfying to do this. As I was saying before about evidence, at the end of the year, I can say, I actually was doing some things. I was teaching classes, I was making videos, I was doing interviews, and I was having a lot of fun documenting my experience of my ordinary daily life inside a page-a-day planner. Have you ever thought of using a regular old agenda or calendar as a visual journal or art journal? Let me know in the comments. You can adapt this idea to document your life as a scrapbook alternative or a different approach to art journaling. It's an easy memory keeping method. It's also really fun, and it all happens inside of a daily agenda. No, Moleskine isn't sponsoring this video, but don't you think they should? I'll leave you with this, your visual journal as the medicine of the moment. If you liked this video and want to see more, I've got lots more linked in the description box below, along with other resources for you on my website, downloads, classes, all that good stuff. You can find it linked below. Thanks so much for watching.